Good morning, folks. Something a little different, a little unique and somewhat interesting. A little while ago I got an email from Jeremiah Watt from Horseshoe brand tools stating that Jeremiah has come up with a new tool and they'd like to send me one to see what I think. I get very excited. Having seen the quality of Jeremiah Watt's tools, yeah, I'm excited. Something new, something interesting and something made by him. Bearing in mind, you're looking at the quality of tools like this, which are staggering and second to none. So, I'm sitting there behind my front door every morning with bated breath and enthusiasm. And eventually I'll get a package through and this comes. Yeah. Okay. What do you make of this? Not what I was expecting. Visually, first impressions, I'm not sure. I've got a little plastic handle, a very thin bit of tin here. I'm not entirely sure what I've got. However, nothing is done without a reason. Nothing is done without a lot of thought, especially when Jeremiah Watt's involved and the handle comes off. So easy to break, easy to pull apart. No. Very, very intentional and very, very different thought process. Now, I'm probably putting words in Jeremiah Watt's mouth here, and I don't want to do that. But I'm thinking he's looking at tools that are more affordable, making them more accessible, but good quality at the same time. So we have this little setup, and the reason that this comes off is because when you buy a pack, you get spare blades with it. So you've got the option of thinking this as disposable, because we can pay, the clicker knives are a prime example. We can pay a lot of money for a handle, a reasonable amount of money for a blade, but we can change the blade out when it's dead, bent or damaged. We don't want to sharpen it. That's the same thought process from Horseshoe brand tools, that we can, if we want to, swap it out. If we don't have the skills, if we don't have the ability to sharpen the tools properly, we can replace them, making it far, far more affordable and making your leatherwork far, far more achievable. There's the interesting thing. However, if you have the ability to sharpen up your tools, then this, I suspect, will last you a considerable amount of time. And this is a unique little tool insofar as the handle, and we're going for a closer look and have a look at it actually working in a bit. But this little handle is actually really, really comfortable to use, albeit it's plastic. It's plastic because it's moulded so it can accept the tool. You pull it off, swap it over. One handle, many blades. That's the nice thing. If you go on to www.branchtoarena.com, and I'll stick that down here, you can see Jeremiah Watt's tools. You will see all his amazing tools for leatherwork, but you will also find this as well. And this is the QC range. And I think, and again, I don't want to put words into his mouth, but sort of reading between the lines, I suspect that the reason for this is there will be more in this range, the QC range. And I think we will see a range of tools that are affordable, changeable, swappable, and bring leatherwork for the beginner up to a different level. I have been using this. It's awesome. This, I have a piece of card with the price written on it somewhere that I've hidden away. Now, you can buy a full set, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 blades, or you can buy a set, and a set will be a handle and 2 blades. And this is what you'll get, your little packet, 2 blades and a handle. So, not bad going. Bearing in mind, I've not worn this out yet and I've tried hard. That will set you back at $14.50. Really, that's silly money. That is, you could buy a set, use both blades, throw it away, buy another one. If you have the ability to sharpen, it's going to last a lot longer. It's thin, it's very, very thin. It is not at all flimsy. There's an element of flexibility, there always is going to be with something thin, but that works to your advantage when you're using this. The angle at the tip is absolutely fantastic, because when you put your hand down to bevel, it just seems to put itself at the perfect angle, and as you push you get an even, you'll see an even consistent thread of leather off the corner to give you a really smart bevel. For a cheap tool, this is outperforming expensive tools. I favour, I'm going to put my glasses on for this. This is, bear with me, old eyes. This is a really old tool. I can't see the name on it now. Very old, very short, flat, but the angle's nice. I've been using this for years. I sharpen it up. That takes a little bit of the edge off. But suffice it to say, this is awesome. I love this. This is really nice. It's very sharp. It's very consistent. It's beautifully made. It feels good in the hand. If I could find this sold new, I would buy it. I've not seen anything of the equivalent yet. It's well over 100 years old and still using it, and I love it. It's perfect. This is better. It really is. It really is. It's staggering. The quality of the steel that he's managed to squeeze into something so cheap. If you want to buy replacement blades, you've got a pair of blades, not one, you get a pair of blades, and they are $12.95 for a set of blades, so you can have the full range. But if you want the full range, you can buy the entire pack for $45, although I think that's on offer and that might run out soon. Or if you have bought spare blades, you can then buy the handles separately, and they're $7.95. That is fantastic, because you can have a whole range, all with handles that you can bring to hand readily, or one handle and lots of different blades to quick change. I've got to say, not what I was expecting. I was in truth expecting some of Jeremiah's gorgeous steel and wood handcrafted into a piece of art that you can actually use for leatherwork as well, which is always a bonus. Little taken aback by the toy that I received, but quickly realised when I began to use it, it's not a toy. It's not. It's done very intentionally to bring the cost of the leatherwork down, because the potential is, and I appreciate the handle is only $8, but if we remove that $8 from the cost and put a different tool in for $12, your toolbox increases fairly cheaply, especially if it's going to be the standard of these little things. I'm not entirely sure what he's going to squeeze into to fitting on here. I suspect you could probably do quite a lot. Anything you can put a handle on, you can put in here. But if he's going to keep that price realistic, bearing in mind to fork out something like that, you're looking at Dixon's, unfortunately, today have taken a nosedive at the beginning of the year. They're not available. When they were available, you're looking at about £30. That doesn't sound like an awful lot of money. The quality wasn't fantastic. You had to do a lot of work to get them back up to scratch. But let's just call it £30 for a benchmark figure. £30 works out, and I'm guessing here, let's call it $45. Yeah, just for the sake of argument, without any shipping or anything like that. The full set, $14.50. So you can have, for $45, 2 or 3 sets. Yeah? So you've got 3 different sets of tools, and all of a sudden, and very, very high quality tools that do the job really well. Anyway, I'm waffling now. I am quite impressed with it. I'm very impressed with it. I really like it. I am using it a lot. I'm using it on high quality goods. I'm really happy with the results. We're going to go to the bench and we're going to have a look at how it performs, which is just very simple action, but I'm going to look at quite soft leather and quite firm leather and what happens to them both, front and back.
Okay.
Let's have a nose. We've got the tool, little more detail for you to see, and these are the packs. He sent me a couple of blades. I've got 0s and 1s here, and I'm using the 0 at the moment, and the 1s are slightly larger. The smaller the number, the smaller the cut, but that's ever so slightly larger, and you go up to suit whatever size leather you want. I like quite a fine trim on my bevels, so I'm using the 0 at the moment. And again, you can see the blade comes out like that, and it's marked up very, very clearly at the neck. We've got QC at the top, which is the quick change range. We've got WE, which is the western edge, that's the edge that will give you, and size at the end, 0. So you've got 5 numbers and letters down there, QC, WE, 0, and that's what that is. And then you've got the Horseshoe brand stamp on there. Where are we? Horseshoe brand tools, and that's pretty much it. But we look at the grinding, it's no different to a very, very expensive beveler. It's just very thin, but it does the job. Now I've got a range of leather here. I've got bridle tan shoulder, die through shoulder, veg tan shoulder, some that's been damped. I've got some harness, and I've got some bridle. So we're going to try it all, and I want to give you a good sort of indicator of how it performs for each one. And what we're going to do, I've got a little bit of ropey veg tan shoulder here. It's not fantastic leather, very furry on the back, so it's loose tanning, and this is what will give you the biggest issue with regard to beveling. It's loose, it'll catch, and you can really ruin an edge very, very quickly, especially if you're trying to bevel before you have treated it. So let's see how this performs on the back. The worst bit, the worst cut. Yeah, that doesn't bother it at all. The face, always the easiest bit to cut. How does that perform? Absolutely perfect. And that's usually the hardest leather to bevel, is the cheapest, and that dealt with that without even thinking. We'll get rid of that. This has been soaked, so it's harder, but we'll do an odd shape ever so slightly. So we'll see how that performed going around a few bends. Just so easy. Exactly the same again. There's not even any effort behind it. It's sharp. It cuts a dream, and it's so you can see how even that cut is from that. That's like a piece of thread. It's consistent all the way through. I've got to say, this is fantastic. What have we got here? Right, this is a piece of bridle tan shoulder. The edges can catch, and if you're not consistent, it's not the best leather to bevel. Shoulder, it's very dry in the middle. I'm not impressed with this piece of leather at all, and because I'm not impressed, it doesn't work very well. So let's see how this performs. And again, absolutely consistent. $15, $14.50. So of course, yeah, you look at the quality of Jeremiah Watt's tools, and they are sublime. They are. Look at the quality of this cut. It's absurd, isn't it? You know, I must say I was expecting something like this. And you look at that, that's staggering. You wouldn't want to use that. That is just so beautiful. It's so well made, robust, thought through. Everything about it is absolutely fantastic. If you want to buy this, www.ranch2arena.com. Yeah, the 2 is the number 2, not the word. Again, I'll put the link up down the bottom just here. But they are staggering things of beauty. If I had a workshop full of tools like this, I'd spend my time just looking at them. So yeah, it was a bit of a surprise to see something like this. It looks a little tandy. And I know, Jeremiah, if you're watching this, I apologise for calling your tools a little bit tandy. But there is that element, without knocking tandy, without certainly criticising Jeremiah, tandy reach a phenomenal market of people that want to experiment with leather but don't want to spend a fortune. Here, you can experiment with leather, not spend a fortune, but achieve a very, very high standard. That's leaps and bounds ahead. It really is. This is a piece of die-through shoulder, quite firm, quite nice. I like this for bags. You've seen me make a few things. The messenger bag was made from this. A little longer, so I'm stopping and starting, coming back. And again, the back, the ropey part, consistent. Bevel's a dream. Look at that, there is absolutely no effort. We'll come back and redo that. There's nothing to cut, so it's just sliding. It catches its area to cut and takes it off. Look at that. That's fantastic. And like I say, you know, I've not sharpened this up. So now we've got a couple of testers. Right, I've got a bit of bridle butt, 4.5mm, hard as nails. I've got a piece of harness, 5mm, harder than nails. That's tougher than that. So we're working our way up to the big boys. A little bit ropey. This is the end of the belt I didn't want, so it's been trimmed off. This is tough leather, difficult to cut. This is really difficult to cut. Let's see how this performs. Into the English bridle. Yeah, you wouldn't even know. It cuts like shoulder. Let's turn it over and do the face. Look at that. Incredible. Incredible. And now the pied de résistance. The back of harness. I'm not even having to put any more pressure on at all. Just whistles through. You can see that's a performer. Don't let looks deceive you. Yes, we all love beautiful tools, and if you want a Jeremiah Watt Edge Beveler, you can buy one of the really nice Edge Bevelers. But if you are in the market for teaching, for training, for just starting out, and you don't have the money to spend a fortune on a whole range of tools from Jeremiah Watt and Horseshoe brand tools, this will fit your pocket. Not only will it fit your pocket, it will do the job well. Just to give you a prime example of what I'm talking about, I have down here somewhere a Dixon's modern, and again I'm not after knocking, well it was, I've hidden it. This is a Dixon's Beveler. Now this is going to perform fairly well, but well, actually I would say the £30 Dixon Beveler struggled there on that bridle, and you saw how smooth the Horseshoe brand Beveler went through. That's worth a lot of money. If you saw a row of those in the workshop, they'd look quite nice, but that has just outperformed that. Oh, that wasn't me messing about. That was genuinely, it wasn't very sharp. Let's just push that over the end. You see how that's creasing the leather underneath. Let's take the other side, swap the tools over. Yeah, it speaks volumes. Really interesting. First and foremost, irrelevant of the fact that I don't want to use budget, but I think there is an element of budget to it. For a budget tool, it performs exquisitely. For the ability to reach a broad audience to experience leatherwork how it should be done, because it's lovely to have a tool, and it's lovely to be able to see somebody use that tool to its best degree, because then we have a yardstick that we can work to. But so often we can pick a tool up and we don't necessarily know how it works, and a beveler is a very good example. If you go and buy a beveler and they say, oh, this will take your edges off, and you slick it up, and if you don't know how it's done properly and don't know what to expect, if it is substandard, or if you're struggling and you don't know that you are, you're making do, and you can damage the edges of your leather, and you can damage the item that you're making because you've just torn off part of the surface of the leather like the Dixons did there. I mean, yes, we can push it back with a bone folder, but it just makes that area rub a little bit unevenly, and it slicks differently, so we're having to do more work to recover. We have something like this that reaches the pocket of so many more people that want to experience leather, but then does the job like the most professional tool in the world. That is testament to Horseshoe brand tools. I will continue to use this. I will probably get the rest of the set. I also will keep a very, very interested eye open for the rest of the QC range, because it's something that I think I'd like to push my students towards, and the people that are coming to me for what do I need in my toolbox. If there is a range that fits the pocket but does a professional job, then how could I not push that? I am staggered by the quality. I'd like something shinier, but that's just me. Who doesn't like shiny tools? If you want, we'll get rid of that. That's tap. If you want something of this calibre, it's available. If you want something that you can afford, you can get probably 3 of these for the price of 1 of these. If you want something you can afford that does the same job, then this is the teddy bear for you. The QC range, I think, is going to be a range that we need to keep an eye on, and there are going to be some very, very exciting things in the future. Jeremiah, awesome, well done, I love it. Thanks for watching, folks.